Welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. In this video we are doing a shootout comparison of 5 very popular spray-on protection products for your car. The products in this test are P&S Bead Maker, WetCoat, Adams H2O Gloss&Guard, Carpro Reload and Sonax Brilliant Shine Detailer. In this test we're going to be marking the products on the following criteria, adding all the results up, providing you with an overall winner, and then going through each product talking about what they do well and what they don't do well. So the different criteria are price or value for money more than just pure cost, ease of application, durability, detergent resistance, the finish, the slickness of the finish that it leaves on your car, the gloss and the repellency or the hydrophobicity. First up, value for money. Coming in last is Carpro Reload that costs $19.95 for 500ml and $34.95 for a litre. I couldn't find a 4 litre or 5 litre offering of this product. It has the highest retail price. You can knock this down 50% or with water or a little bit more with water to increase the value, but in simple terms it's the most expensive product in this particular test. In second place with the value for money is Adams H2O Gloss&Guard, which is $16.95 for 16 ounces or £60 for 1 US gallon. In third place with the value is P&S Bead Maker that costs $11.95 for 16 ounces, which is half a litre roughly, or $34.95 for 1 US gallon, which is around 3.7 litres. I am also considering the amounts that you have to apply and use of this product when I do this comparison. In second place is WetCoat, which costs $9.95 for 500ml, $16.95 for a litre, or $37.95 for 4 litres. You can, this is a spray-on rinse product, but you can use it slightly differently, and you don't have to use a lot to apply it, to apply it well. So it still can offer you good value. The winner of this is Sonax BSD. You can pick this product up for around £7 to £10. Shop around for 750 millilitres of this detail spray, which has made a name for itself more as a spray sealant. You can also buy 5 litres of it for around about £35. You do not use a lot of it during application, which makes it the overall winner in value for money. Now, in terms of ease of application or the nicest to work with, 3 of the products I gave 3 out of 5 for. That they're okay to work with, but they have some potential issues that you might not like. Sonax BSD, it's a detail spray, but you spray it on the car, work it over the panel and buff it to a high shine. It has a reputation for providing lots of protection as well. And it's very simple to use. I don't find it particularly streaky, but I find it quite sticky to work with and spread over the panel. Some people do knock it down with water, so ideally when you're using something that you spray on and work over a panel, it's nice when it's easy to kind of spread and work with. So I gave it a 3 out of 5. Next up, Carpro Reload. I also gave this 3 out of 5. Again, it's a spray onto the panel buff. You can use it on wet panels as well. The slight differences with Reload and Sonax BSD is Reload is a little bit easier to buff off the panel. It is, or buff to a gloss, shall we say. It can be prone. It's a very concentrated white looking product, and if the panels are slightly warm and you spray it on, it can start to bond. And then when you're trying to spread that product over the panel, you can get a little bit of streaking. With any water-based product, if that happens, you could use a wet microfiber to then just spread that streaking area over the panels and then go back and buff at that point. It's not a difficult product to use. One other negative with it is that as you are buffing it, it's not slick and slippery, which is what I like. There's a slight sort of resistance feel to it. So it gets a 3 out of 5 for application. Next up on ease of application is P&S Bead Maker. Your initial application of this particular product requires you to use a little bit more product than you would with any of these other ones. So you have to spray a lot of product in, perhaps as much or between 1/3 and half of this bottle. It is a very simple product to apply, but you need to spread it over that panel first after you've sprayed it on there. and then you need to kind of level it back. In fact, they do use the word buff it to a shine. And when you've put a lot of product there, it can be a little bit streaky to buff it to a shine. However, what I found with it is, while you're in that leveling process, if you just wipe it over, get it level, if there is any streaking, when it dries, that and sort of the water vapes out of it, those streak marks actually disappear. So how much you actually want to buff it is down to personal opinion. It is relatively easy to apply. Further applications after the initial ones will also be easier, where you're putting less product down. In second place, G on WetCoat. If you follow the spray and rinse application of this, spray per panel, rinse off, it is a very easy product to work with and a very rapid product to work with. The reason it hasn't won is you need to be careful with it in the sun. You want to avoid, when the panels are hot, spraying it on individual panels and working your way all around the car. Alternatively, with this product, you can spray it onto a panel and then work it over that particular panel with a wet microfiber, and then level it with a dry microfiber, and I find that a really easy application method. Again, if you're getting streaking with this product, it's because it's bonding, a high concentration of it, it's bonding in a certain area and sticking, and then you're trying to spread it. So again, a wet microfiber on any streaking to spread it over the panel, get it sort of well distributed, and then level it back with a dry microfiber. In my opinion, in joint first place, also picking up 4 marks for this particular one, because there's a couple of reasons why you might not look to use it, is Adam's H2O Gloss&Guard. So this is a clever cocktail of resins and siloxanes in here that are designed to be applied to panels during the drying process of your car. You can also apply it, you can dry the car first and then apply it, or apply it when the car's wet. If you apply it and spray it onto a soaking car, there's a danger that it can run places, and because it's a resin product, that could be messy. The best way to apply this is to spray it onto the cloth, spread the emulsion over a panel one at a time, literally count to 30 seconds or a minute, depending on obviously the temperature and stuff like that. And the panel just dries to a very thin haze that is really nice to work with and buff off. And it's that kind of buffing a very thin haze which I kind of like and enjoy. However, some people might have a requirement to not work with a resinous type product that you have to buff back to a gloss. The disadvantages are perhaps you need to be careful when you're spraying it near badges and stuff, like you do where you can get polish in the badges where it's difficult to remove. Or if you spread the resins or the emulsion over edges of the car, if you miss those when you're buffing, you get the little build-up of product. So that's something you need to be mindful of. But like I say, in my opinion, it's one of the nicest ones to work with out of all of these products, and can be applied very rapidly. Next up, guys, is durability. I know all these products pretty well, use most of them well. Bead Maker, this bottle may be full up, but I've had a sample of it that Levi from the rag company let me have many months ago back in the summer, and I've looked at this on test panels. So this is my opinion of the durability of these products. In first place, it is without doubt Sonax Brilliant Shine Detailer. The repellency and the durability that you can observe anyway last the longest on this particular product. In second place, it's joint again, guys, where both the products live up to their durability claims of around 2 to 3 months. And that is Adam's H2O Gloss&Guard and G on WetCoat. If you apply these well, these products will deliver 2 to 3 months protection. In next place is Carpro Reload. This product claims 6 months durability, and I can't get it to deliver on that for all the things that I can measure. I actually think, again, it's closer to the durability of WetCoat and Adam's Gloss&Guard, but the product claims 6 months durability, so it loses a mark for not delivering on that. In last place with durability is P&S Bead Maker. The product, I believe, claims around sort of 2 to 3 months durability. I think it can deliver you around 2 months durability, but the performance, you can notice it tail off more, and therefore you might want to be topping up the product after that initial application a little bit more than these other ones. These other ones, I think you could trust to just leave them for their full kind of durability claim duration, apart from Reload, like I say, which after 2 or 3 months I think you'll be wanting to reapply. Next test is detergent resistance. Test panel, used an abrasive to strip any product that was on there, degreased it, applied the products as per manufacturer instructions with the exception of WetCoat, which I couldn't rinse off because I didn't want to cross-contaminate, so it's important to state that. The panel was left for 24 hours, and then we used the detergent to test it. We used Koch Chemie Green Star, which is a powerful alkaline water-based cleaner, that doesn't mask, which is one kind of important thing, so I can actually kind of observe them. And we applied it, sprayed it onto the panel, worked it in, rinsed off, repeated that process 10 times, and on the 10th application, we left it on there for about 10 minutes, then did a final rinse, and observed the detrimental effect of the products throughout those 10 runs, and the final kind of impact on the products after those 10 runs. The results of the detergent resisting test are as follows. In clear first place, Sonax BSD, that was performing the same after the 10 cycles as it was on application. It is well known for how hydrophobic it is, but also it seems to be able to hold on to that performance for a ridiculous amount of time for a product which claims to be a detail spray and doesn't make any kind of bold claims about the durability. So that's really, really impressive. The next three were very close, but Adam's H2O Gloss&Guard, surprisingly actually, held on to its kind of performance a little bit better than the next two. After that, it was G-On WetCoat, and then closely followed by Carpro Reload, that was just showing signs of going back to a slower sheeting after 10 than throwing the water off really rapidly. And in last place was P&S Bead Maker, that is not as repellent as these other products we'll talk about later on, but it was the most affected by the detergent resistance, and by the 10th test the water was not being thrown off of the kind of panel. It was happy to kind of sit there. And I've done a lot of water kind of testing with waxes over the last kind of 3 years, and I can tell when things are affected. So this was clearly the most affected, and this was clearly the best performer in this particular test. Next up, the surface slickness that these products leave behind on the panel. You can measure this by how the microfiber feels on it. You can measure it by putting objects on it and tipping them and see at which point they slide. You can measure it by feeling it as well, guys, and I'm pretty confident in the results of this. In fact, it's not difficult to tell the difference. The clear winner in surface slickness is P&S Bead Maker. People have noticed the feel of the panel after you apply this stuff, and it is unbelievably slick and slidey and feels great under a microfiber cloth after the application. The clear winner in that particular test. In second place was G-On WetCoat, guys, and again I believe this has kind of got hardening agents mixed in with this silazane, because one of the things I can notice about it, you can do the old sliding bottle on the hood test if you want. I refuse to film that on the channel actually, because it's on too many kind of viral Facebook ads, but it does lower the surface friction and leave a nice slick finish. Not quite as to the same extent as P&S Bead Maker. In next place is Adam's H2O Gloss&Guard. Just a nice, non-sticky finish where it's quite slippery and you can feel that, and you get the microfiber on it and it doesn't stick down the microfiber. It's all still quite nice and slidey. Not to the same level though as WetCoat, and definitely not to the same level as Bead Maker. The next two products are actually what I would describe as not good in how they feel after you've described them. It's one negative that I have with both of them. But in next place is Carpro Reload. You can test this for yourself. Once you spray it onto a panel and just leave it for an hour or so, just feel how the microfiber feels on the panel. And there's a slight kind of, it's not smooth and sticky, it's not ultra grabby. You might even find this hard to spot, but I've observed that with this product before, so it's just doesn't leave the kind of slickness that I want on the paint. But in last place is Sonax Brilliant Shine kind of detailer. I can really feel after I've applied this to a panel. It looks great, but it is quite grabby to work with, and it does have a slightly sticky finish. Again, very hard to spot, and some people aren't fussed by that, but I'm going through all the criteria and marking it, so I'm trying to do it fairly as well. So in last place on the surface slickness is Sonax BSD. Finally, guys, the gloss on application that these products provide, something which is very interesting and very speculative. But what we've done in this test is we've prepped my particular square test panel, we've applied all the products to it, left it 24 hours, taken 10 gloss readings off each section, taken the average, and I've also done a little sanity check on the gloss after it was applied to the bonnet as well, because it's another medium with a different kind of base gloss level. And I will overlay all the results of that particular gloss reading, so you can see for yourself kind of all of the meter readings and stuff like that. So let's just keep this simple. In first place, with providing an average of 84.1 gloss units, was P&S Bead Maker, a very glossy product, guys, and you're going to notice that if you use this product. And let me go through the rest of the readings so it gives you a comparison. In second place, Carpro Reload with 82.4, so about 2 gloss units down. And that is actually quite significant difference, but that was the second best. In third place was Sonax BSD with an average of 81.7 gloss units, so close to Reload, but a couple off of the front runner. In third place was Adams H2O Gloss&Guard with 79.4 units, so that's a 4-unit difference between Gloss&Guard, which is a product I've always thought looks good, and P&S Bead Maker. And in fifth place was WetCoat with 78.6, which was interesting. And as you'll see with the readings that I took on the hood as well, the differences between the products were consistent on the hood readings, or reading, as well as all the readings that I took on the test panel. So I think reasonably confident with these results actually. And the thing I want to take away is that Bead Maker is the one that when you actually look at it, probably looks the most glossy by quite a way. But the gloss meter is able to pick that up as well. So I hope that's a useful comparison for you. Next up is the measure of hydrophobicity, or water repellency, whether or not it's beneficial or not. Lots of people like to see a product which is reactive to water and creates high contact angles and beading and stuff like that. In first place, it's clear, Sonax BSD, well known for how hydrophobic this stuff is. Whatever material that Sonax are using in this, water hates it, and you know, it's just very impressive from its water repellency characteristics. It was a clear winner. In joint second place was both Carpro Reload and WetCoat, that are both I know these products, and they are both very repellent, especially on application. So they're using a very kind of reactive siloxane that is water repellent. Close behind them, and not much in it, was Adams H2O Gloss&Guard. Again, this is a complicated product. We'll talk a little bit about it at the end, but in that product, as well as all the resins, are siloxanes that are probably very repellent and reactive to water, and that performs well if you like your beads and stuff like that. H2O Gloss&Guard. And finally, P&S Bead Maker still is a water repellent material, guys. Does still produce beads, but it doesn't have that insane reaction. It doesn't throw the water off it, doesn't create really sort of like those beads where the contact angle of the kind of water is almost vertical or even rolling over on itself. You know, I could talk about that a little bit more on the channel. So it's the least repellent of these particular products. It's being tested against some of the most water repellent products I've ever seen. So I'm not too surprised by that. And really, there's a whole argument that you do want stuff to kind of sheet off there. But quite simply, I'm measuring hydrophobicity in this particular test and giving you the results. And you can make of that what you like. Adding up all the points, guys, we're going to give you the final results of this testing. In first place with 27 points is Sonax BSD. In second place with 23 points is WetCoat. In third place with 21 points is Adams H2O Gloss&Guard. In fourth place with 20 points is P&S Bead Maker. In fifth place with 19 points is Carpro Reload. Finally, in this video, very importantly, I'm going to run through each product and quickly summarise why you might want to try them and why you might not. Sonax BSD Brilliant Shine Detailer has won this test mainly because it performs so well with most of the things that you can easily observe and measure. It is also a very cost-effective product. I've tested this before on a prepped panel that was sectioned off with loads of other products on the market, and sitting next to this product was another protection product, spray-on, that cost around £45 to £50 for 100 millilitres of product. So this is around £7 to £10 for 750 millilitres of product. So that opposite product would have cost around £300 to £350 for the same amount of product. And this blew it out of the water completely. It's a powerhouse of a kind of protective product at a very affordable rate. The only reason why you might not want to use it is you're less interested in hydrophobic performance and how the product is to work and use over the panel, and how the slickness of that product is after you've applied it. That is the only reason for not using Sonax Extreme Brilliant Shine Detailer, as far as I can tell. Next up, Carpro Reload. Why would you want to use this, guys? Well, it's a silica infused siloxane kind of cocktail. The white stuff in it, I believe, is the trimethylated silica, and the rest of the liquid, the reason it can bond so quickly is it's probably using siloxanes in there as well. The one thing I'm not able to tell is what that silica is adding to the equation, the white stuff. It can create some sorts of streaking issues if you apply this a little bit recklessly and hurl it on, especially on hot panels where it's harder to spread. The other reason why you might not want to use this is the product is potentially the most expensive in this particular test at $19.95, and you're looking for more value. The other reason you might not want to use it is you were expecting a spray-on sealant to give you 6-month protection, and as I said before, I don't think this can deliver on it. However, I've used this product a lot. Like I said, it's a very popular product, did very well in the gloss testing. Its primary functional, one of its main uses, is after you've supplied a ceramic coating, when they're kind of vulnerable to water spotting, to put it on top of that, provide a kind of water repellent sort of layer of protection that's going to protect your coating from getting water spotting, and it definitely delivers on that. Like I say, a very popular product and a good product, and one that I know and have used a fair old amount. Worth noting, this is an old bottle that's probably a couple of years old, and I've got one that's probably 5 or 6 months old, so I've actually been using the fresh one in this particular test, just in case anyone was wondering. Next up, guys, Adam's H2O Gloss&Guard. Why would you want to use this product? It's a nice product to work with. As I've said, it performs well in all of the things in this particular test. It's reasonably repellent, it seems to have decent detergent resistance, and it's nice to work with. Why would you not want to use this particular product? It's reasonably expensive at $16.99 for 16 ounces, although you shouldn't be using this every time you wash your car. It will deliver its durability claims of 2 to 3 months, so this will give you years of protection, but quite simply, I can apply that argument to the other ones. At $16.99, it's a little bit more expensive. The only other reason not to use this product is you don't like working with an emulsion type product that leaves a layer of film that you have to buff back during that kind of drying process of the car, which is where they kind of advise you that this is best utilised, or that's the best time to apply it. So that's why you would use it and why you wouldn't. Next up, G-on WetCoat. Why would you want to use it? Why wouldn't you? It's a spray-on, rinse-off product, primarily after you've washed the car and rinsed it. It's covered in water. Then you go and spray this all over your car and rinse it off. The disadvantage, or one disadvantage of that, is at that particular moment, your glass in particular, where this is going to sort of, even if you don't spray out onto the glass, if you spray out onto the roof and rinse it off, it's going to inevitably roll over the glass. Glass needs to be kind of cleaned with glass cleaners to get all that kind of grease off. And anything you spray on glass needs a prepped surface to properly bond, and that's one of the reasons I don't use it in the way they describe. You would also perhaps not pick this product if you're in a constantly hot environment and you're washing your car and using these types of products outside in sunlight, because when you spray this onto the panel, if the panels are warm, it dries the carrier out much more immediately, and you get a massive concentration of product in one particular place, and that can cause you problems. However, if you know about that, you spray it onto the panel and you spread it with a wet microfiber immediately, panel by panel, I find this extremely easy to apply. The other reasons about why you might want to use it, that it's, apart from the gloss test, which it didn't do too well in, which I was surprised at, it delivers on its protective claims, it's extremely repellent, and it definitely leaves I think it hardens off to a sort of, you know, tougher material, which they claim helps make the car easier to kind of wash, and I think it delivers on that as well, though it's hard to measure. But I just think it's a really clever siloxane based product, and it's one of the best ones I've used, and it's one of my favourites, and it did come second in this test overall, but this is probably my personal favourite. But then again, I've gone into every single detail of why you might want to use it and why you might not. Finally, guys, P&S Bead Maker. Why would you want to use it? This is quite easy actually, guys. The on-application performance, two areas of that on-application performance, gloss and slickness, this was the clear winner. By up to 6 units of extra gloss than some of the other products in the test. And you can see it when you apply it. It looks great and it feels slicker than anything I've felt on a car panel before. And that's what most people are noticing about it. And if you buy some and test it, you'll notice that as well. It's really nice in that sense. So perhaps one of the glossiest and slickest products on the market at the moment. It's reasonably well priced as well, but you could argue that if you're just buying one little bottle, you're going to get through half of that perhaps with your first application, and then you're going to get through smaller amounts after that. That'll be enough to decide whether or not you like this particular product, and after that you can get very good value actually if you buy a gallon of it for $34.95. That's going to last you a long time. So price wouldn't be a reason I don't think to rule this out. The reason that you might not want to use this is that you're looking for a product that's able to provide more hydrophobic performance. Some people are really into their kind of beading and all that sort of stuff. And also you might want a product that lasts longer and has higher detergent resistance. Those are the only kind of negativities around it that I can see in this test. I almost think of this as a bit like a wax, where it's the product that gives you a lot of kind of user satisfaction on application immediately after it's applied. So perhaps you could argue it'd be a great product in the summer where you're hitting your car less with kind of detergents and washing them all the time, but you really get to kind of see the gloss and feel the slick paintwork. As you then start throwing detergents at this product, even the first wave of detergents, after you've dried it and you feel the paint again, that amazing kind of slickness isn't quite the same. If it was able to maintain that feel that it gives you on application, it would be an absolute knockout 5-star product. But it's a very good product for me with some kind of limitations that I've highlighted in this video. Thank you very much for watching this particular comparison video. Let me know what your favourite product is in this kind of genre, guys. Let me know what you think of the results of kind of this kind of testing and what I'm saying about the product. Does that fit in with your experience of them, if you've used them? Put all that information in the comments, and it always makes a nice kind of read about what these products are really all about. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next Forensics Detailing channel video.
Holding on to what I knew, but the moment's gone. Where was I?